Welcome to Architect Forum. Today we are going to learn glossary of architecture, terms, and definition. So, let's get started. Abacus. Abacus is a slab forming the crowning member of a capital. Abutment. Abutment is a solid masonry which resists the lateral pressure of an arch. Aedicule. Aedicule is a small temple-like arrangement, originally limited to shrine, which became a common motif in the classical system. Column or pilasters carry a pediment entablature and end frame a niche or window. Agora. Agora is the Greek equivalent of the Roman forum, a place of open-air assembly or market. Aisles. Aisles are the lateral divisions parallel with the nave in a basilica or church. Ambulatory. Ambulatory is the cloister or covered passage around the east end of a church, behind the altar. Apse. Apse is the circular or multi-angular termination of a church sanctuary, first applied to Roman basilica. Architrave. Architrave is the beam or lowest division of the entablature, which extends from column to column. The term is also applied to the molded frame around the door or window. Arcuate. Arcuate is a building system, or style of architecture, of which the principal constructive feature is the arch. Example Roman. Ashlar. Ashlar is a masonry of smooth squared stones in regular courses. Astyler. Astyler is a treatment of facade without columns. Atrium. Atrium is an apartment in Roman house, forming an entrance hall or court, the roof open to sky in the center. Attic. Attic is a term first applied in the Renaissance period to the upper story of a building above the main cornice, also applied to rooms in a roof. Baptistry. Baptistry is a separate building for the baptismal rite. Barrel vault. Barrel vault is a continuous vault of semicircular section, used at most periods and in many countries from Roman times to present. Bas relief. Bas relief is the carving in low or shallow relief, on a background. Basilica. Basilica is a hall, with the nave and aisles for administration of justice. Batter. Batter is a wall with an inclined face. Battlement. Battlement is a parapet having a series of indentations. Bouleuterion. Bouleuterion is a Greek Senate building or council house. Bracket. Bracket is a projecting member to support a weight, generally formed with scrolls or volutes. Buttress. Buttress is a mass of masonry built against a wall to resist the pressure of an arch or vault. A flying buttress is an arch starting from a detached pier and abutting against a wall to take the thrust of the vaulting. Caldarium or colletorium. Caldarium or colletorium is a chamber with hot water baths in a Roman baths building. Campanile. Campanile is an Italian name for bell tower generally detached from the main building. Capital. Capital is the crowning feature of a column or pilaster. Caryatids. Caryatids is sculptured female figures used as columns or supports. Cella. Cella/naos is the chief apartment of a temple, where the image of the god stood. Cenotaph. Cenotaph is a funereal monument to a person buried elsewhere. Chancel. Chancel is the space for clergy and choir, separated by screen from the body of the church, more usually referred to as choir. Chapel. Chapels is place for worship, in churches, in honor of particular saints. Sometimes erected as separate building. Classical. Classical is the architecture originating in ancient Greece and Rome, the rules and forms of which were largely revived in the Renaissance in Europe and elsewhere. Clerestory. Clerestory is an upper stage in a building with windows above adjacent roofs, especially applied to this feature in a church. Cloister. Cloister is covered passage around an open space. They were generally south of the nave and west of the transept, probably to secure sunlight and warmth. Coffer. Coffers are sunk panels, caissons formed in ceilings, vaults and domes. Compluvium. Compluvium is a quadrangular opening in the atrium of the Roman house, toward which the roof sloped so as to throw the rainwater into the shallow cistern or impluvium in the floor. Corbel. Corbel is a block of stone, often elaborately carved or molded, projecting from a wall, supporting the beams of a roof, floor, vault, or other feature. Cortilogus. Cortilogus is the part of the substantial house which forms a self-contained dwelling. Cross vault or groin vault. Cross vault or groin vault are vaults characterized by arched diagonal arises or groins, which are formed by the intersection of two barrel vaults. Crypt. Crypt is a space entirely or partly under a building, in churches generally beneath the chancel and used for burial in early times. Cubiculum. Cubiculum is a bedroom in Roman house, but sometimes used in a less specific sense to denote other rooms. Cupola. Cupola is a spherical roof, placed like an inverted cup over a circular, square. Dipteral. Dipteral is a temple having a double range of columns on each of its sides. Dolmen. A dolmen is a type of single-chamber megalithic tomb, usually consisting of 3 or more upright stones supporting a large flat horizontal capstone or table. Eaves. Eaves are the lowest part of the roof projecting beyond the face of the wall. Entasis. Entasis is a swelling or curving outwards along the outline of the column shaft, designed to counteract optical illusion which gives the shaft bounded by straight lines the appearance curving inwards. Fluting. Fluting are the vertical channeling on the shaft of a column. Forum. Forum is the public open space, for social, civic or market purposes, found in every Roman town. Fresco. Fresco is the term originally applied to painting on a wall while the plaster is still wet, but is often used for any wall painting not in oil colors. Frigidarium. Frigidarium is an apartment in Roman baths building equipped with a large, cold bath. Gable. Gable is the triangular portion of the wall, between the enclosing lines of a sloping roof. In classical architecture, it is called pediment. Gallery. Gallery is an external and internal feature in medieval buildings. An upper story for seats in church. Gargoyle. Gargoyle is a projecting water spout grotesquely carved to throw off water from the roof. Hexastyle. Hexastyle is a portico having a row of 6 columns. Hypostyle. Hypostyle is a pillared hall in which the roof rests on column, applied to the many columned halls of Egyptian temples. Impluvium. Impluvium is in Greek and Roman houses, a shallow tank under the compluvium, or opening in the roof of an atrium. Insula. Insula is a block of flats in Roman towns. Loggia. Loggia is a gallery behind an open arcade or colonnade usually on upper level. Mastaba. Mastaba is an ancient Egyptian, rectangular, flat-topped, funerary mound, with battered sides, covering the burial chamber below ground. Megaron. Megaron is the principal room of an early Anatolian or Aegean house. Narthex. Narthex is a long arcaded entrance porch to a Christian basilican church. Nave. Nave is the western limb of a church, as opposed to the choir, also the central aisle of the basilican, medieval, or Renaissance church, as opposed to the side aisle. Niche. Niche is a recess in a wall, for a statue or ornament. Obelisk. Obelisk is a tall pillar of square section tapering upwards and ending in a pyramid. Octostyle. Octostyle is a portico with a range of 8 columns. Pediment. Pediment is in classical architecture, a triangular piece of wall above the entablature. In Renaissance architecture used for any roof end, whether triangular, broken or semicircular. In Gothic, such features are known as gables. Pendentive. Pendentive is the term applied to the triangular curved overhanging surface by means of which a circular dome is supported over a square or polygonal compartment. Pentastyle. Pentastyle is a temple front of 5 columns. Peripteral. Peripteral is a term applied to an edifice surrounded by a single range of columns. Peristyle. Peristyle is a range of columns surrounded a court or temple. Piano nobile. Piano nobile is the principal floor of an Italian palace, raised 1 floor above ground level and containing the principal social apartments. Piazza. Piazza is a public open place, surrounded by buildings, may vary in shape and in civic purpose. Pier. Pier is a mass of masonry, as distinct from a column, from which an arch springs, in an arcade or bridge. The term is sometimes given to a pillar in Gothic architecture. Pilaster. Pilaster is a rectangular feature in the shape of a pillar, but projecting only about 1/6 of its breadth from a wall. Pylon. Pylon is a term applied to the mass of masonry with a central opening, forming a monumental entrance to Egyptian temple. Pinnacle. Pinnacle is in Gothic architecture, a small turret-like termination on the top of buttress, parapet, or elsewhere. Podium. Podium is a continuous pedestal. Portico. Portico is a colonnaded space forming an entrance or vestibule, with a roof supported on at least one side by column. Propylaeum. Propylaeum is an important entrance gateway or vestibule, in front of sacred enclosures. Prostyle. Prostyle is an open portico of columns standing in front of a building. Amphiprostyle, an open portico of columns standing in both sides of a building. Ribs. Ribs are projecting bend on a ceiling, vault, or elsewhere. Rotunda. Rotunda is a round building. Rustication. Rustication is a method of forming stonework with roughened surfaces and recessed joints, principally employed in Renaissance buildings. Sanctuary. Sanctuary is the most sacred part of a church or temple. Sarcophagus. Sarcophagus is richly carved coffin. Tempietto. Tempietto is a small temple. The term is usually reserved for Renaissance and later buildings of an ornamental character, compact circular or temple-like structure erected in the parks and the gardens of country houses, although the most famous instance is Bramante's chapel in the cloister of St. Pietro in Montorio, Rome. Volute. Volute is the scroll or spiral occurring in Ionic, Corinthian, and composite capitals. Tetrastyle. Tetrastyle is a portico of 4 columns. Trabeated. Trabeated is a style of architecture such as the Greek, in which posts and beams form the main constructive features. Tracery. Tracery is the ornamental pattern work in stone, filling the upper part of the Gothic window. It may be either plate or bar tracery. Transept. Transept is the part of the cruciform church, projecting at right angles to the main building. Triclinium. Triclinium is a Roman dining room with couches on 3 sides. Triforium. Triforium is a shallow passage above the arches of nave in a medieval church but below the clerestory and opening into the nave, sometimes called a triforium gallery when floored above the aisle vaults. Rose or wheel or Catherine window. Wheel or rose or Catherine window is a circular window, like the spokes of a wheel. Ziggurat. Ziggurat is a high pyramidal staged tower, of which the angles were oriented to the cardinal points, which formed an important element in ancient Mesopotamian temple complexes. Thank you for watching. For more videos related to architecture, subscribe, like and share Architect Forum. See you soon with our next video.